Assalamu alaikum. Today is the anniversary of the great Battle of Ain Jalut in 1260 AD. This, brothers and sisters, was arguably one of the most important battles in Islamic history after the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And to understand the importance of this battle, you need to understand the context. You see, the Mongols were like no other enemy that the Muslims had faced. They were vicious and they were strong and they were fearless. And they destroyed one Muslim army after the next. But they didn't just destroy armies, they completely destroyed cities, towns, and villages. And their strategy was one of psychological warfare. They wanted to strike fear in the hearts of Muslims, and that's exactly what they did. For the first time in Islamic history, the capital of the Islamic Ummah in Baghdad was completely destroyed. The Khalifa was executed. More than 1 million Muslims were killed in Baghdad. And the Mongols continued ravaging right through the Muslim world. They went through Syria and they conquered all of the major cities in Syria. Muslims at the time became convinced that the Mongols could not be defeated. Muslims began to speak about the end of Islamic civilization, and others would speak about the coming of the Day of Judgment. This was the context of the Mongol invasion in the 1200s. And the last stronghold of Islam that could stand in front of the Mongols were the Muslims of Egypt under the Mamluks. The Muslims in Egypt had every reason to be afraid of the Mongols. They had every reason to back away. But they went forward and they faced them in Ain Jalut and they defeated the Mongols in a decisive victory. This, brothers and sisters, is what Istiqamah looks like. It is remaining firm on the truth and in your fight for justice, no matter how difficult the situation is, no matter how much fear you might feel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in the Qur'an, الَّذِينَ قَالَ لَهُمُ النَّاسُ إِنَّ النَّاسَ قَدْ جَمَعُوا لَكُمْ فَاخْشَوْهُمْ فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَقَالُوا حَسْبُنَا اللَّهُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. Those to whom people said, indeed, the people have gathered against you, so fear them. But it only increased them in faith. And they said, Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. The people of Egypt remained on Istiqamah, and they defeated the Mongols. And by defeating the Mongols, they saved the Ummah. And this is what Istiqamah looks like. Another lesson of Istiqamah from Ain Jalut that is important and often not recognized is that Ain Jalut came a few decades after the great battle of Hattin, when Salah ad-Din defeated the Crusaders and shortly afterwards freed Al-Aqsa. You see, before all of this, Salah ad-Din did one of the greatest achievements in Islam. He reformed Egypt and he brought Egypt back to Sunni Islam, and he reformed the institutions in Egypt. He reformed the government, he reformed the army, he established schools, he reformed the courts, he reformed the place of ulama in the country, and he established awqaf of all sorts and all types to strengthen the Egyptian people. That work that Salah ad-Din did, that helped lead to the defeat of the Crusaders at his time, also led to the defeat of the Mongols in Ain Jalut. Because when the Mamluks took over Egypt, they inherited these institutions. They inherited a strong army that was oriented towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and oriented towards Islam. They inherited the awqaf, they inherited the strong court system, and with that, they were able to withstand the Mongol invasion and defeat them in Ain Jalut. So we are reminded by this example that Istiqamah applies to institutions just like it applies to individuals. So what are the lessons for us, brothers and sisters? That just like the Muslims of Egypt stood strong against the Mongols and demonstrated istiqamah, we must continue to stand strong in our commitment to justice and to the freedom of our brothers and sisters everywhere, even if the whole world is against us, even if it is difficult, even when we are full of fear in doing so, we must stand up. That is what istiqamah requires of us. That is what makes the people of Gaza who they are and makes them special people. And we learn that we must also do istiqamah of our institutions. Here at home, our masajid, our schools, our charities, our organizations should all be organizations and institutions of istiqamah. We should strive to make them strong. We should strive to make them effective. We should strive to make them able to support and empower the Muslim community here. This, brothers and sisters, is what istiqamah looks like in Islam. So let us, in these blessed days and nights of Ramadan, remember that the great people that came before us, our predecessors, were made great because of their istiqamah. And we will also be made great, bi'idhnillah, if we become people of istiqamah, if we follow their footsteps and the footsteps of the people of Gaza and Syria today, fighting for our ummah and defending our ummah. We will also be people of istiqamah when we follow their footsteps and do everything within our ability to support our brothers and sisters, to defend Islam and to defend this ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those people, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us firm on the road of justice and on the road of fighting against oppression. Bi'idhnillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.